Railways revolutionized travel and commerce, creating a web of connections that linked towns and cities. The rhythmic chugging of trains was the heartbeat of progress. Welcome to the Boothbay Railway Village, a remarkable destination that invites us to explore the past through a delightful assortment of vehicles, exhibits, and charming settings. Step through the gates of the Boothbay Railway Village and you're instantly transported to time when life moved at a different pace. The unique establishment, designed like a village frozen in time, is a treasure trove of vintage vehicles, historic buildings, and stories waiting to be discovered. One of my favorite sections was the miniature village. It's an entire building dedicated to one large town, and it's got multiple trains. It's got freight trains, it's got working trains, it's got passenger trains, and the town is set up with so many intricate details. There's like a Texaco, there's like a movie theater, there's all kinds of stuff in this city, or in this town. It's really amazing to see how they set this up. I could have spent way more time in here, but it's not huge, so they were kind of busy this day. There was an event going on, so we each only got like 15 minutes in here, but I could have gone back in here for probably an hour and seen all of these little details. It's so easy to miss them. As we stroll through the village streets, we encounter a fascinating array of vehicles that once ruled the roads. Antique cars, tractors, and fire equipment stand as sentinels of the past, showcasing the evolution of transportation technology. Each vehicle tells a story of innovation, craftsmanship, and the changing needs of society. You can immerse yourself in this village's charm as you step into meticulously restored historic buildings. The old schoolhouse was a family favorite. It whispers of lessons taught and learned. It was a great way to show how boring classrooms were back in the day and how they basically taught with only a chalkboard and one teacher for multiple students of multiple ages and multiple grades. It's kind of crazy to think about going to school back then. The rustic home offers a glimpse into the past of everyday life, and the general store resonates with the lively chatters of shoppers from long ago. One of the gyms nestled within the village is the Ironworks Trained Blacksmith Shop. Here, the rhythmic clang of hammers and the dance of fire and metal create a symphony of craftsmanship. Watch as the skilled blacksmiths bring iron to life, forging intricate pieces that once played pivotal roles in transportation and daily life. Marvel at the meticulously preserved engines, as each of them has its own purpose and place in history. One thing that I thought was amazing was the wall of boat engines. That's amazing just to see all these old boat engines. Something that you wouldn't even think of at a train museum, but nice little bonus. It's got like salt and pepper shakers and other little miscellaneous ceramics that are about this size. It's a huge collection of them. It's in its own way, it's actually very impressive. I don't know what else it really has to do with the train museum, but it's there and it's definitely cool. Come along to see how these steam-belching giants became the locomotives of the yesteryear. Speaking of trains, as a kid I always enjoyed train rides. It's definitely quite an experience to be able to go on it. This is in Boothbay Harbor, right here as the map shows. Now, the Railway Village Museum is, in a lot of ways, very much like the electric trolleys, except it's a steam railroad that they're using, and that's the track that you get to ride on, is a steam train. So that's definitely a neat thing as well. So they've got a ton of different cars in there from mostly all American brands. So that's definitely a fun experience as well. Now, the highlight here is definitely that you get to go on this nicely restored steam train around on this course. It's so cool. And what a better way to honor history than on a steam-powered locomotive. The rhythmic chug of the locomotive evokes of a past where these iron horses were the heartbeat of a nation. And let's get a little bit more information about the Railway Village here. So they're open 10 to 5, Tuesday through Sunday, and closed on Mondays. Now, what does the Railway Village cost? Well, the admission is $15 for adults 18 to 64, only $8 for children 3 through 17, and seniors get a discount at $12 for 65 years and older, and under 3 is free. This is actually new this year, but not only do people under 3 get in free, museum members, which is a membership itself, I think a family membership is $75. Also, active military members will get in for free. That may change, of course, but that's just something to keep in mind. And then, as of right now, if you pay your standard admission, it gets you a second day of admission as well. So if there's anything you missed or anything you want to go back and take more time exploring, maybe the Audit Museum, then you can do that. It also gives you free train rides for the next 7 days. So if you're a tourist and you're staying in Boothbay and you're going there, don't forget about that, because there's like a little golf place next door. There's a bunch of little things. You could stop in there and take a train ride every day of the week. Definitely something I never knew about. I think it's new this year, but don't quote me on it. Just like the Trolley Museum, They do a lot of special events here. So they do like Halloween themes, Christmas, North Pole themes, harvest days, children's festival, fall foliage. And so in general, I like to go on those event days. They're just a little bit more fun. That being said, they're usually more crowded. So do keep that in mind, is that there's going to be more staff and everything, but there's not exactly more trains. So when you go and you get on this experience and you're going through the train station and all that, you may actually have to wait. Whereas I've been there other days where there was really no waiting. It was pretty much like as soon as the train was there, you just hopped on and went. So not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind. You may want to time it a little bit differently and take a look at this or that, and then just hop on the train at the most advantageous time. Boothbay Railway Village isn't just a place for history buffs. It's a destination that captivates young and old alike. Whether you're exploring the intricacies of the ironworks or reliving your childhood memories of classic cars, the village offers something for everyone. These many structures in this village provide a tangible link to the past, reminding us of simpler times. It's something our kids don't always get to enjoy because they always are on screens. It's really nice to kind of jump into the past. No screens, nothing like that. Show kids what it was like before I was born, anything along those lines. It's really neat for me as well. I get to see this history that could easily be forgotten. As we move through the Vintage Car Museum, we see over 60 vehicles on display, ranging from 1902 to 1962. They even occasionally offer Model T rides, although not the day we were there. Along with mostly American cars, are vintage gas pumps, oil cans, and other automobile collectibles. It's a really neat place to explore, and even though it's a little smaller than some of the other car places I've been to, it's definitely still a really fun one. It's really nice to get up close to some of these vehicles and see some of the details. Some of the older vehicles were just so crazy with the details. The wings that swoop and like the hood ornament, the inside, they just redo this stuff so nicely. These collections are a lasting remnant of an era that will be a shadow of our past in another 20 or 30 years. The convenience of cars and airplanes led to the decline of passenger train services in many areas. So did the privacy of being in your own kind of bubble in a car. A lot of people like to travel at their own pace. They like to do things at their own pace. They don't want to wait around to have a bus or a train that they need to catch. And so I think people were really, really independent in America. Maybe this isn't the same in some of the other countries, but people really, really value their cars. It's one of those things that people will like kind of never give up, or they'll even go get a car payment that costs as much as their rent. As we reflect on this journey through transportation history, we can't help but marvel at the cycles of innovation and the transformation. The rise and fall of electric trolleys, the glory days of trains, the evolution of cars, each chapter in our own transportation story becomes its own lesson.